Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, thank you. So let me just start with a very short story. A few months back, one morning, having coffee after breakfast, our kasambahay came up. And she asked us, Devi, my wife, and I, Sir, Ma'am, pwede ho ba ako mag-advance, cash advance? Okay, magkano? 5,000 po. Bakit? May emergency po sa bahay. For those who cannot understand Tagalog, you may want to ask your seatmate for a translation because it's better to tell the story in Tagalog, you know? And you will gain a friend. So, 5,000. Okay. Paano mo ipapadala? Dun po sa kapitbahay namin. Bakit kapitbahay? Okay, let's call her Mirabel. Para may name. Encanto, right? So, Mirabel, bakit? And she told us, emergency, bakit kapitbahay? Wala naman po kaming, we asked her, why not send it via e-wallet? Wala po kami. Tatay mo, nanay mo, wala po kami. And then, kapitbahay. So, paano yan? Do you trust your neighbor? Siya lang po ang may e-wallet sa barangay. This is in Brooks Point, Palawan, if you're familiar with the geography. Remote town, down south Puerto Princesa. And they live in a barangay. Bakit? So, paano yan? 5,000. Magkano naman sa kanya? 50 pesos po per 1,000 pesos. So, 5,000, he'll get, the intermediary will get 250,000. That's a lot of money for this person. I was floored. Bakit ganun kamahal? Kasi po, barangay, dirt road, pupunta pa sa bayan to get the money. This was few months back. Internet access, mobile phone problem. And this happened. That's Mirabel's story. I got concerned, very concerned. Why is this happening this day or a few months back? Good afternoon once again. Thank you for the invitation. Philippine Economic Society would like, the Commission would like to thank you for this invitation to be here today. And the organizers, thank you. Very well-attended session. So before I start with my brief presentation, let me just read the last line. The views expressed here do not reflect the entire Commission or its members or bind the PCC. My own, okay? Thank you. Fair enough, yes. Thank you, and so let me start with this slide. There you go. What is the PCA, or the Philippine Competition Act, and the PDP? So, Philippine Competition Act, enacted in July 2015, and then the office, the commission, was established in 2016. 2017, the launch of the PDP. In that PDP, the first one, under then President Duterte, a big chunk of that is national competition policy. So briefly, what's national competition policy? It's basically 2 points. One, pro-competitive policies, and number 2, competitive neutrality. I'll talk about pro-competitive policies later. Competitive neutrality means non-discrimination between non-government-owned and government-owned businesses. Level the playing field. Yun lang yun. And then, 2017, signing of NEDA, PCC, Joint Memorandum Circular. Again, National Competition Policy. But you will probably be asking, but that's just between, this is the whole of government. It affects national governments, LGUs, GOCCs. But how can NEDA and PCC bind other agencies? And therefore, October 2021, the President issued administrative order adopting the National Competitive Policy so that it's a whole of government approach. And then lastly, early this year, the launch of the PDP for the current PDP 2023 to 28. What was the main ingredient or message of that PDP? Digital transformation. Digital transformation, where are we? Mirabel. So that is my challenge, because now we're going to answer, the title of this presentation is Digitalization and Competition Policy, Challenges and Opportunities for MSMEs. So that's the title of this session. That begs the question, where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the balance between regulatory policies of the government and efficiencies of market, effective competition? So that will be the question that our esteemed panelists will be sharing with you. What brought about that transformation, digital transformation that we're saying? If you remember the SONA of the President, he was focusing on digital transformation. One of the 8-point agenda was digital transformation. Why? Because of COVID. You know another story? Before COVID, I don't have an e-wallet account. Came COVID, I didn't want to touch any cash. So, I now have an e-wallet, and I use it very, very often. And I would surmise a lot of us here will have their own e-wallets, right? It's so efficient. It's so convenient to have your e-wallets. And that pandemic accelerated digital transformation. I think I have here some data from here. 2019, pre-pandemic, this is the DITC official data. No internet access, 82% of the population. 2023, with internet access, 73% of the population. So you can just see the jump. And because of pandemic, everybody now wants deliveries. Pa-deliver nga dyan. Right? So that, that's it forced actually everyone to adapt to digital platforms. Okay, so PCC mandate, we're both, number one is of course regulatory. We regulate practices, anti-competitive practices, abuses of dominant positions, think monopolies, oligopolies, and anti-competitive mergers and acquisitions. Other than our regulatory function, we're a quasi-judicial body. Other than that, we have an enabling function. So we conduct market studies. We have an economics office, Director Bing's here. And then, the one of their advocacy for pro-competitive government policies. Last Monday, we had our workshop with NTC and DICT, talking of infrastructure. How do you free competition in the infrastructure industry? And there were a lot of eye-openers there. Applying NCP. So, what's the problem with anti-competitive policies? Well, it reinforces anti-competitive behavior among the private sectors, increases the cost of doing business or barriers to entry. How can the micro and small business entities compete? There has to be a level playing field, right? Example, price caps. Very sparingly, price caps should be used when there are failures in the market. Additional red tape for permits and licenses. Ang hirap kumuha ng permit or license sa LGU. Wag na lang. That's a barrier to entry. So, its key objective should be to create a competitive environment fostered by the mindset of ease of doing business. And that's why we have ARTA watching us. Competitive policy and regulation, where do you balance, where do you draw the line, with these seemingly competing interests? Too much competition, you saturate the market, and you don't protect the players, the stakeholders. Too much policy objectives, lesser competition, market failures. Where do you draw the line? So that one of the policy objectives now is to partner with PCC, with other agencies. So we welcome those initiatives. If you have regulations, perhaps we can look into the competitive issues that may arise. Again, that begs the question, what is the least competitively restrictive means by which the government can achieve its policy objectives? Let me jump here. It was mentioned earlier in the presentation, consumer welfare. So this is the result of an efficient market. You have lower prices for the consumers. You have more choices for the consumers. You have better quality for the consumers. And because of competition, competitors will have to innovate, to outdo each other through innovation. Outcomes benefiting the consumers. The total benefit is called consumer welfare. So now, let me start with our esteemed panelists. Masyado na akong madaldal. Okay. But, before I do that, let me introduce first Mr. Lito Villanueva. Here. Got it. But I need my reading glasses. Don't laugh, tatanda rin kayo. Okay, my friend Lito Villanueva, both of them are very good friends of mine 5 minutes ago. Lito is the Philippines' award-winning thought leader on digital transformation and inclusive digital finance. He is the Executive Vice President and Chief Innovation and Inclusion Officer of Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation, better known as RCBC. Concurrently, he is the Chief Digital Transformation Advisor for the Yushchenko Group of Companies. He led RCBC's digital transformation with game-changing digital innovations, such as the award-winning app RCBC Discartec. Wow, beautiful brand. Discarte plus technology. The world's first multilingual financial inclusion super app in Taglish and Cebuano. No Ilocano yet, Lito? Coming. Okay. RCBC ATM Go, the Philippines' first community-based handheld ATM device. Handheld ATM device, wow. Which covers 100% of provinces nationwide. Mirabel. RCBC Pulse, one-stop shop digital banking app that offers the widest range of digital services. And RCBC Manibela, steering wheel. But it's Manibela, Pera Bella, Barangayan Banking, the country's first physical, digital, or phygital, nice term, banking experience serving geographical, distant, and disadvantaged and conflict areas of the country. Under Lito's leadership, RCBC bagged multiple regional and global awards, such as the Philippines' Best Bank for Digital for 4 consecutive years from Asia Money, the Gartner's Eye on Innovation Award, a back-to-back win for the Best Financial Inclusion App for the Asian Banker, and the YouTube Challenger Award for its trailblazing digital campaigns, generating over 17 million views combined, among others. Lito is also the founding chairman of FinTech Alliance Philippines, or FinTech Alliance.ph, the Philippines' largest organization of startups and unicorns that collectively generates over 90% of digital transaction volume in the country today. He was elected global chairman of the South Africa-based Alliance of Digital Finance Associations from over 30 countries. He is also a trustee of the Philippine Blockchain Council and an advisory board member of the AIBP ASEAN Innovation Business Platform. Lito was recently named a Circle of Excellence awardee in the Global Filipino Executive of the Year category of the Asia CEO Awards for 2 consecutive years and garnered twin recognitions as LinkedIn's top finance leader and among the Philippines' top 30 leaders on LinkedIn. He was also awarded the Philippines Rising Tigers magazine as one of the trailblazers and innovators for the year, the Legend CIO title by the World CIO Summit 2023, and Digital Leadership of the Year by PhilSec Awards. He is hailed among the 2023 Seamless Asia's Top 50 Banking and Payments Leaders, Top 100 FinTech Leaders in Asia, Mr. FinTech of the Philippines by BizNews Asia, the Chief Innovation Officer of the Year by The Banker, among others. He released various publications, including the award-winning Inclusive Digital Finance reports. He's also a regular business column called Bytes, no? With a Y. Bytes in the Philippine Star. Lito earned 2 graduate degrees and finished the Digital Transformation by Design Cambridge Intellect Leadership Program in 2019 at the Judge Business School, University of Cambridge in the UK. Lito?
Thank you. I thought it will last until 5 o'clock. Anyway, thank you so much, and it's an honor to be with you this afternoon. I had lunch with Monetary Board member Bruce Tolentino here, who's actually the second session, I think, after us. So again, to our dear delegates, industry leaders, participants, and special guests, again, good afternoon. Allow me first to greet the Philippine Economic Society, a very happy 61st founding anniversary, highlighted by this conference. It is a welcome opportunity to speak in front of you all today on behalf of RCBC and the FinTech Alliance.ph on a topic that's very close to my heart. It is an honor to be amongst today's movers and shakers, trailblazers and thought leaders, and to speak on stage about a cause I am proudly passionate about. We are all united together by one goal, and that is digital transformation, and joined by one purpose, and that is change for the better. All our efforts and hard work in the present are geared toward the bigger, brighter future. Our missions are built on a clear vision to succeed. In our case, it's the vision of a reimagined, reinvented, and repurposed tomorrow for the betterment of society. Before we look forward, let us first take a step back. We're talking about massive digital transformation at present, but what exactly has the word digital meant for us? As a throwback to our yesteryears, think of the word digital from eons ago. And what comes to mind? Prior to the fast-paced world of smartphones, tablets, and AI, we had digital pagers, digital clocks, digital watches, digital cameras. It was truly remarkable to witness the complete automation of analog processes and everyday items. Fast forward decades later, and the 21st century has taken on a new and astounding meaning. Generative artificial intelligence, or Gen AI, is here. Automatic chatbots, smart watches, mobile phone applications that enable you to do almost everything previously physical, now on a screen with just a few clicks and taps. Digital is no longer just a supplementary way of living, it is now the only way to live. However, the cold, hard truth remains. Digital transformation is exclusive, and we must remember this. Amidst all the innovations we're surrounded with and the progress we are making, in the grander scheme of things, digital is a lifestyle that only the privileged are able to enjoy. And in the Philippines especially, digital is not yet equally accessible. The era of digital transformation is still not experienced by all Filipinos from all regions. Many remain excluded, underserved, and ultimately unbanked. There is a digital divide that urgently needs to be addressed. The gap between banks and the ordinary Filipino consumer is strikingly wide. The underserved mass market that makes up most of our country comes from geographically disadvantaged regions. These are conflict areas and rural low-income communities that have little to no access to the internet, technology, financial literacy, and even basic financial services to survive. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, and of course we have here a member of the Monetary Board, MBM Bruce, reported that the number of unbanked Filipino adults in 2019 was at 51.2 million, and that is about 71% of the total adult population. This urged the BSP to craft the National Strategy for Financial Inclusion, as well as a digital payments transformation roadmap. And that roadmap has twin goals, and that is to onboard 70% of adult Filipinos into the formal banking system and digitize 50% of all retail financial transactions by end of this year. BSP is proud to say that we are on track to surpass these targets by the end of this year. And of course, that is a collective effort, including the industry and the other stakeholders within the digital payments ecosystem. However, we still have a long way to go To us, digital transformation will only be whole once financial inclusion and living digital are no longer just a privilege, but a right. At RCBC, our aspiration as a company is for no Filipino to be left behind. We knew we weren't just going to sit back and passively watch this unfold. We took this challenge as an opportunity for growth. We were not only going to support the government digitalization goal for the country, we were going to champion it. We would be the pioneering bank for financial inclusion, and our digital transformation vision is encapsulated in our mantra as a bank, and that is delivering customer-centric, personalized banking with a heart through what we call the innovations with empathy. These are multi-contextual, innovative products and digital finance services that are created with our target market's ever-evolving, hyper-specific needs in mind. These are socially sensitive, culturally relevant, tailor-fit solutions to the everyday struggles of the Filipino people and life-enabling tools for their financial empowerment. So how do we get the mass market bank, considering their barriers of distance, accessibility, time, and of course, hesitation? How do we help the owners of small and medium enterprises, the backbone of our country's economic development? We did not expect them to come to us. We took the time to discover and understand their needs first, and then we came to them. To do this, we went back to our roots, delved into the nitty-gritty, and spent time on the ground to learn firsthand how to serve our people better. There is much power found in contextualizing their pain points and personal barriers. No wonder the majority still did not own their first basic deposit accounts. Banking was not designed for them. To champion financial inclusion, we launched what we call the Manibela Barangayan Banking in 2022. That is the country's first phygital or the physical digital blended banking experience. Fusing the warmth of physical banking with the ease of digital, our banking experience support agents, or we call it BES, BES, delivered our life-changing services to over 42,000 rural barangays nationwide, including financial literacy campaigns during the pandemic. This was our way to transform traditional financial services into something easy, affordable, and accessible in order to reach more Filipinos and widen our reach to the communities that needed us the most. Of course, we know for a fact that Filipinos practically rank #1 in terms of the most emotional amongst Asians or amongst peoples in the world, because we love telenovelas, Korean novelas, and we always have that, affinity to our, of course, having to talk to people or having to have quite a number of Marites, Maricon, and Mirabel, and Mariposa. So we are able to offer RCBC's award-winning digital finance solution, RCBC Discartec, to the mass market, comprising approximately 98% of the socio-economic class in the country. It is the world's first multilingual financial inclusion super app in the vernacular Tagalog, English, or Taglish, and Cebuano languages that makes financial services such as savings, fund transfer, e-load, telemedicine, insurance, and loan accessible and convenient to the Filipino mass market. It holds a very competitive annual savings rate of 6.5% per annum and the lowest transfer rate of about 8 pesos per transaction. And note that, of course, upon the moral suasion of Governor Eli Remolona, RCBC will also be waiving the fees, InstaPay fees, very soon. So that will be transactions below 500 for InstaPay transactions. And of course, part of that is having to ensure that Filipinos need not be additionally burdened by a maintaining balance, dormancy fees, or initial deposit. Initial onboarding is simple. Just one valid government-issued ID is needed to open an account, even your paper-based PhilSys ID, yung QR code, from the comforts of home. And we lowered the barriers to formal banking for them so that intimidation, language, extra cost, and complicated onboarding processes are actually addressed. Through Manibela, we were able to offer wealth-enhancing and livelihood uplifting programs such as the RCBC Negosyantec, which engage micro, small, medium enterprises, as I've said, the backbone of our country's employment force. In 2022, the Philippine Statistics Authority reported that out of a total of more than 1.1 million business or enterprises operating in the country, 99.6 were MSMEs. And these MSMEs collectively generated 65% of the country's total employment, signifying their immense contribution to the economy. However, 67% of these MSMEs are fighting for survival. And this is due to the effects of the pandemic, facing resource constraints, limited staff, lack of expertise, and short-term business pressures, which especially in our country hinder the adoption of new technologies that can aid their growth. The RCBC Negosyantec program empowered sari-sari store owners, family-owned establishments, and grassroots business to earn additional income and capital by facilitating digital transactions such as cash deposits and the like. And of course, they earn from convenience fees paid by their customers. We call it pakisuyo, or on behalf of. So they earn from convenience fees paid by their customers, and they could earn as much as 30,000 per month as incremental income out of, for all of these sari-sari store or mom-and-pop stores nationwide. So this program not only provides additional livelihood, but also supports the digital financial literacy campaign by RCBC and the national government's push for us to be able to proliferate or further promote financial education amongst Filipinos. And again, another core component of Manibela Barangay Banking and RCBC's other award-winning solution is RCBC ATM Go. We delivered the Philippines' first bank-agnostic, last-mile, and grassroots-oriented mobile point of sale that is actually in that handheld device, all features or all functions or functionalities found in a brick-and-mortar ATM, yung malaking ATM, are actually in that small device. These terminals were strategically stationed in geographically isolated and disadvantaged area. Again, we're also the only bank that covered, private bank, that covered all the 5 provinces under the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. And again, 65% of all transactions are actually Pantawid 4-piece beneficiaries through the Land Bank cash cards. So no need for travel, no need to travel far and spend on transportation, since ATM Go is conveniently located in community hotspots like the palenques, sari-sari stores, and transportation hubs across the country. And as I've said, we have covered 82 provinces with over 3,400 terminals deployed and with close to about 1,400 merchant partners by September 2023. And we will be increasing the number of terminals to about 6,000 or growing that by more than 400%. So these are the initiatives that we have initiated for in support of the BSP's trust. And I just would like to also jump to another area because for FinTech Alliance, we will be launching the first and the grandest or the largest Bagong Pilipinas, the Philippines Country Pavilion at the Singapore FinTech Festival. And this is in partnership with the Office of the President, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, the Securities and Exchange Commission, as well as other government agencies, including our sponsors such as the Land Bank of the Philippines, DBP, KPMG, the Philippine Airlines, and other sponsors. But note that the FinTech Alliance, as what was mentioned earlier, it's comprised of more than 100 corporate members, and collectively, all the members generate over 95% of all FinTech-initiated transactions volume in the Philippines today. So the members would include the likes of GCash, Maya, Grab, and all the digital banks in the Philippines, and other FinTech players, as well as suppliers and vendors from overseas as well. So this would be the contribution this is actually a private-public partnership in action that will be showcased at the Singapore FinTech Festival. And for some of you, the Singapore FinTech Festival is the world's biggest FinTech event, attended by about 70,000 participants from over 140 countries worldwide. So I would just like to show you this video, and this will be I hope you would enjoy this video. Thank you.
The Philippines. Rapid growth in inclusion and digitalization, generating over 2 trillion pesos in our GDP. We are proud to be Asia's digital hotspot, poised to be a $1 trillion economy by 2033. Witness the best of the Philippines, presented on the global stage.
This year, the FinTech Alliance.ph will be spearheading the Philippines Country Pavilion at the Singapore FinTech Festival. This is a distinct opportunity for us to champion the Philippines, a bustling and fast-growing FinTech hub in the region.
At the Singapore FinTech Festival. In partnership with FinTech Alliance, the Philippines' first and largest industry association of startups and unicorns. Collectively generating over 95% of digital financial transactions in the country today. Along with key government and regulatory agencies and private sectors. We present the first and the biggest, the Bagong Pilipinas, the Philippines Country Pavilion. Bagong Pilipinas embodies the Marcos administration's vision for the country, emphasizing unity, involvement, and the Bayanihan culture as the main fibers and components for its full realization. It aims for a progressive Philippines that leverages technological advancement in pursuing sustainable industrial development. A public-private partnership in effort to accelerate a sustainable and inclusive digital finance ecosystem. And a brighter future for every Filipino.
I know that the state of the nation is sound and is improving. Dumating na po ang bagong Pilipinas.
Join us as we take the center stage in the global market and community of nations.
I welcome everyone to the Bagong Pilipinas country. The Philippines is emerging as a hub for innovation in fintech or financial technology. I welcome everyone to the Bagong Pilipinas Country Pavilion at the Singapore FinTech Festival. I am proud to say that the Philippines is emerging as a hub for innovation in fintech or financial technology. Our dynamic ecosystems of banks, financial institutions, startups, digital entrepreneurs, and other stakeholders are constantly working to unlock the vast potential of digital finance. It is already transforming the lives of millions of Filipinos through proven services and technologies that promote financial inclusion, secure and efficient transactions, and economic growth. We are now developing and refining these services and technologies so they can reach all Filipinos and every untapped market abroad. So, I invite you to invest in the Philippines and join us as we move to become a globally competitive player in fintech. I wish you all a successful event.
Thank you, my good friend Lito. That's a wonderful presentation. If you remember one of the slides I've shown, the outcomes of a free competition, innovation. That's innovation at its best. My question, which you can answer later, is to what extent have we penetrated the both sides of the market, especially the small or the micro and small business people And on the other hand, mga kababayan natin na nasa laylayan, the Mirabels. Before we address that question, Lito, I'd like to call our other equally good discussant, Yusek Rafaelita M. Aldaba. Since 2019, Yusek Fita has served as Undersecretary of the Department of Trade and Industry, Competitiveness and Innovation Group. She was Assistant Secretary of the DTI Industry Development and Trade Policy Group from 2014 till early 2019. Prior to her DTI appointment, she worked as Senior Research Fellow and Vice President of Philippine Institute for Development Studies, or PIDS as we know. She has extensive research experience on development issues with focus on industrial policy, regional economic integration, international trade, foreign direct investment, competition policy, and small and medium enterprises. What a fitting experience. A researcher turned policymaker, she was highly instrumental in crafting the analytical framework for the Industry Roadmap Project and the Comprehensive Automotive Resurgence Strategy, or CARS, program of DTI Board of Investments. She also led the formulation and implementation of the Comprehensive National Industrial Strategy, Inclusive Innovation Industrial Strategy, or I3S, and the new industrial policy known as the Science, Technology, and Innovation-Based Filipinnovation and Entrepreneurship Roadmap, Startup Development Program, Smart Industry Readiness Index Assessment, Technology Utilization Survey in Manufacturing and Agribusiness, Industry 4.0 Pilot Factory, Regional Inclusive Innovation Center, Artificial Intelligence Roadmap, Philippine Skills Framework, Creative Industry Development Program, along with the crafting of the Strategic Investment Priority Plan. Ma'am Fita?
Thank you so much for that kind introduction. And good afternoon, everyone. It's so good to see all of you here after the pandemic. I think this is my first time to be joining the PES after the pandemic. So what I'll be discussing is I'll try to relate competition policy and the digital economy. Why do we need competition law and competition policy as we promote the digital economy? Of course, the focus will be in terms of ways, measures, initiatives by which we can improve the digital readiness of our MSMEs. Okay. Well, even during the pandemic, we've really seen how the e-commerce sector has grown. And we've actually started working on a lot of activities, a lot of projects as we try to promote e-commerce in the country, as well as build the digital economy, of course. And in order to support the digital readiness of our MSMEs, we've implemented quite a number of projects and initiatives, as you can see on the slide. There were digital skills training covering the building of digital fabrication laboratories. We also started offering training courses on e-commerce through our ASEAN SME Academy. There was also a program which started during the pandemic. It's called Ascend, and this is to support domestic, micro, small, and medium enterprises along with exporters. And a lot of information sharing activities were also carried out. And this is to provide tech tools for our MSMEs, along with a lot of Digitalks, webinars, and podcast series. And as you know, DTI also has its own negosyo centers. And during this period, we also started offering online courses through the negosyo centers. And in terms of access to finance, of course, this is Lito's area, but let me also briefly mention some of the activities that we have done, because access to finance really is one of the major constraints preventing our MSMEs from growing. And our primary group here that is in charge of our MSME funding would be the Small Business Corporation. And of course, other market access programs that we've implemented so as to be able to support the marketing as well as provide programs that would help MSMEs as they participate in global value chains and deepen, upgrade their positions along the value chain. And so we have programs such as Ascend, market certification, trade fair readiness programs. Also, we have the One Town, One Product Philippines, along with the Philippine e-commerce platform, which is actually linked with the eGov Super App, which is the one-stop shop platform offering all different government services. But of course, when we talk about digitalization, when we talk about digital transformation, it's not only about e-commerce or the marketing segment of the value chain. So what we try to do really is to support the digital transformation of our MSMEs, of our industries, including the large enterprises, along the different stages in the value chain, as well as in the supply chain. And in 2019, we actually did a survey in order for us to identify in which particular stage of the technology ladder are our MSMEs and other industries located or positioned. And given the survey that we've carried out, this was done all over the country across the different regions, what we found out was, in the case of the Philippine manufacturing industry, we are still in the process of transition from Industry 2.0 to Industry 3.0. And some of the sectors, however, are already in the more advanced stages, already in Industry 4.0, particularly those that are exporting, like semiconductors and electronics. But on the overall, the results are what you can see on the slide. 58% of those who responded have actually no manufacturing equipment connected to an online network. 35% are still using paper-based processes. And low-tech utilization is actually observed among our micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as those that are non-exporters and companies that are located away from urban areas. And in Philippine agriculture, the situation is a little bit worrisome, if I may say. We are still in Industry 1.0, transitioning to Industry 2.0. Only 1 out of 10 farmers utilize mechanization technologies, and 90% are still using manual labor. And among MSMEs in the agricultural sector, only 4 out of 10 are using mechanization technologies. And the barriers that they cited included the lack of awareness of Industry 4.0, the lack of knowledge and skills, limited access to finance, and high costs of technology adoption along, of course, I'm sure we're all familiar with this, the poor state of telecommunications, infrastructure, and services. So, given this entry of new technologies in the country, along, of course, with the current situation where we are in, our policy in terms of our industrial policy or our industrial strategy is really focusing towards science, technology, and innovation that would drive a more inclusive and sustainable industrial transformation in the country. We are looking at these new technologies as tools that would enable us to become more innovative, to introduce more new goods, new services, as well as, of course, to make our production more efficient, improve our productivity, improve our competitiveness. That way, we'll be in a better position to generate more quality jobs, as well as be able to create new industries as we embrace these new technologies and create new products and services. And at the heart of this strategy is competition, innovation, and the two are very much related, of course. Competition would lead to more innovation, which would, of course, lead to more improvements in productivity. And the relationship is not one way. It's a two-way process. And this is going to be the foundation by which we will be able to build more dynamic industry ecosystem, which will, of course, lead us towards the generation of more quality jobs, attract new investments, and the creation of new products and services. So on the slide, you can see our STI-driven industrial strategy. There are 6 major pillars. We are embracing Industry 4.0 technologies. And of course, the focus in terms of creating more innovative MSMEs and startups. What we want is to be able to graduate more micro to become small, the small to become medium, and for the medium to become large. And of course, other pillars would include regional industrialization. Very important is the reskilling and upskilling of the workforce, human capital development, and the creation of a more enabling economic environment that would enable us to attract more investments. So we just recently launched our national AI strategy roadmap, the goal of which is to make the Philippines as an AI center of excellence. And the focus really is in terms of uplifting the lives of our people, improving the productivity of our workers, our industries, and enhancing the economic competitiveness of the country. Of course, we are focusing as well in terms of utilizing AI to maintain the regional and global competitiveness of our industries and of micro, small, and medium enterprises in particular. In terms of our national AI strategy, there are 4 major elements. One is digitization and infrastructure. We are building a more robust networked environment. We need to improve data access and data value extraction. Second is workforce development, nurturing the future AI talents as well as the reskilling and upskilling of the workforce. Third is the AI governance framework. What we want to develop really is a more responsible AI, AI for good. We all know AI can also be used for bad things, right? But through the framework that we are building, what we want is to develop an AI economy conscience. And lastly, very important, is research and development for us to accelerate innovation, utilizing artificial intelligence, and mastering and pushing the boundaries of artificial intelligence through the strong collaboration between industry, academe, government, and civil society. And one important recommendation of the roadmap is the building of the Center for AI Research. And this is going to be a public-private partnership for data scientists and researchers who will be performing collaborative AI R&D and technology application involving government agencies, researchers, universities, research institutes, including startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, and multinational companies. Well, this is going to be a very capital-intensive activity, and as we all know, our MSMEs are challenged in terms of their access to capital, and hence, it's really important that we have a center that would help them in terms of how to utilize AI to address their problems, as well as to help them in terms of conducting their R&D and creating new products, new services, and pursuing more innovation. And one of the focus areas is actually the use of precision agriculture. And this is important in order for us not only to increase the productivity and expand the production of the agricultural sector, but in terms of improving the incomes of our farmers. And another important initiative that would support the digital readiness of our MSMEs is the Industry 4.0 Pilot Factory. And DTI is going to build this Industry 4.0 Pilot Factory that would host demonstrations and case applications of Industry 4.0 technologies involving, again, not only large enterprises, but MSMEs and the academe. We are also implementing another initiative, which is called the Smart Industry Readiness Index. And so far, we already supported 20 companies. And this SIRI, shortcut for the Smart Industry Readiness Index, is important to help our industries, to help our MSMEs and large enterprises in crafting their digital transformation roadmap. Because this digital transformation it's a journey. And as we all know, it cannot happen overnight, and hence a roadmap would be needed. Okay, so in the interest of time, I am going to skip some of my slides, but just to mention that the SIRI program is not just for large enterprises, but it's also for small enterprises such as those that you can see on the slide with Manila, as well as Oro Handmade Innovations. And this Oro Handmade Innovations is actually a manufacturer of pineapple paper. And due to the huge demand for pineapple paper in Europe, and given that it's utilizing a manual process, the company went to us to seek for assistance in terms of how we could help them automate their processes, because currently they're not able to provide the demand. And it would take them a month, for instance, to really fill up a 1 metric ton that is being demanded from them. And we also have regional inclusive innovation centers. And currently there are 13 of them. And the goal really is to be able to ensure that we're able to commercialize or accelerate the commercialization of innovation and R&D. This is in partnership with the university, between industry, government, academe collaboration. So some of the, actually it's no longer moving. I don't know why. Maybe time for me to stop. But if you can press it, please. So we can move to the next. Okay, these are just some of the industry academe R&D partnerships carried out under the Regional Inclusive Innovation Center, together with the USTP, University of Science and Technology in the Philippines, the automation of the pre-production of the durian ice cream, along with some other projects that supported the innovation activities of MSMEs in the region. And so for my last slide, I think I need to say something as well with respect to competition and the digital economy. We know that for us to really be able to create a healthy digital economy, we need not only the digital infrastructure, we need affordable and reliable digital connectivity, digital financial services, as was discussed by Lito a while ago, but also a conducive regulatory environment. And this strong regulatory environment is necessary in order for us to foster competition and build consumer trust, manage risks, expand access to domestic and foreign markets, and boost trade by reducing the cost of operations. And this is especially helpful to support the growth and development of our MSMEs. And right now, of course, we have already the 2000 E-Commerce Act, we have the Consumer Protection Act, the Data Privacy Act, and the Competition Law. And both houses actually just approved the Internet Transactions Act. But at this point, I think it's really crucial for us to review the Philippine Competition Law. This was approved way back in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. But we need to evaluate it in order for us to make it more responsive to challenges of data-driven business models, the multi-sided digital platforms, and digital mergers. For instance, in the case of digital mergers and acquisitions, big technology companies can acquire smaller firms even before they can become a competitive threat. But of course, we need to take into account as well the benefits arising from a larger operations by integrating two companies, for instance, and the need for us as well to incentivize funding and innovation by smaller firms. This innovation support is crucial in order for us to ensure that our MSMEs would be able to compete in this market. And of course, there are other issues that we need to investigate, particularly those that would affect contestability, like the relationship between online platforms and firms that are dependent, and market concentration due to economies of scale and scope in data-driven business models, along with opportunities to enhance contestability by making data more widely available. So I'm going to stop there. Sorry, I exceeded my time. Thank you very much.
I was looking at that sign, time's up, but something's bothering me. Can I just ask one question, please? The same question that I raised earlier. We have the wonderful things that DITA has been doing, and I can testify. I'm a witness to that they were really working hard. And the technologies that Lito mentioned, but still, there's seeming asymmetry between penetration that I mentioned. Where are we really? And what are we doing to bridge the gap? We have technologies available. DTI is working very hard, but still, our micro and small businesses are behind, way behind these technologies. And our consumers, where are we and what are the plans to bridge the gap? Anyone, please. Thank you.
Yes.
Are there barriers to entry?
Well, definitely. While we have quite a number of good news. I mean, when it comes to our progress, amongst all players in the industry, in partnership with the regulators, of course, the national government, as well as other players in the industry. I think one of the key barriers still would be our digital infrastructure. Philippines remains to be the most expensive up to this time in terms of data access. Data access that is reliable and what do you call this, and always up, and just imagine with the rising inflation, and of course to your point as to how we will be able to digitalize MSMEs. I mean, the presentation of Yusek Fita a while ago, I mean, the fact remains that you have 1 out of 10 farmers that would have access to digital, and that digital would be more of having to understand ano yung stage of being digital. It doesn't mean digital because you have access to a smartphone or have access to any data-driven tool or smartphone, but it's really more having to make sure that you can actually have access or be able to make use of that one. Because again, one of the things that we are also trying to address is that it's not only about, the story does not end with you having to acquire or onboard more Filipinos to have e-wallets or bank accounts. It's really more about having them to use it and make that as a daily habit, right? So, and one of the things that is also, that's why it would be, what do you call this, utopic to say that we are aspiring to become a cashless society. It's more of a cash-light society. Because the top use case now in digital payments is still cash in, cash out. And you pay so much for a cash in and a cash out for service fees across all your merchant partners. So that's why until such time that we were able to address those pain points, I mean, imagine a micro entrepreneurs having to pay those fees would, imagine without them having to pay those fees, that would redound to them having to sell more in their sari-sari stores. And I think that would be something that the entire industry has to address as well.
Thank you, Lito. Ma'am Fita, do you have anything
Yes,
to say?
I think I mentioned in the presentation earlier some of the structural barriers preventing our MSMEs from adopting these new technologies. I'll only mention a few. Of course, Lito already said our poor digital infrastructure, the high cost of internet, that's another issue, along with, of course, their lack of access to skilled workers, because you would need new skills in order for a small or medium-sized enterprises to be able to embrace and really apply these new technologies in their operations. And hence, our programs really are geared in terms of the reskilling and upskilling of our workforce. We have the Philippine Skills Framework wherein we try to identify, we work together with the industry as well as with other government agencies such as the Department of Education, CHED, as well as TESDA, in terms of identifying what the future skills and competencies, what the future occupations would be. And then after creating this occupation map, wherein you identify all the different occupations in a particular industry, we also need to identify what the skills and competencies that are needed for every occupation. And these are being shared, the results are being shared with both CHED and TESDA in order for them to identify where the gaps are in terms of the current courses being offered, and to be able to create the new training courses or new courses at the university level that would be needed in order for us to ensure that the demands in terms of skills and competencies by industries would be sufficiently provided in the future. And of course, apart from the Philippine Skills Framework, we are also working on building the Center for AI Research, as well as an Industry 4.0 pilot factory, which are really needed. Our neighbors already have this. And MSMEs don't have the capital, they don't have the skill, I mean, can you imagine an ordinary small enterprise being able to hire a data scientist, for instance, or an AI engineer, and so on. And hence, it's really important that we have one center that's going to provide consulting services to our MSMEs. It's the way we envision it. It's going to be a go-to place whenever our MSMEs would like to engage with consultants as well as with the academe or with the startups to be able to address their problems utilizing AI or new technologies in the near future. And we're hoping that by in a few years' time, we'll be able to pilot this. We are working together with the Asian Development Bank so as to ensure that we'll be able to have the necessary resources that would sustain the activities of this plan that we intend to carry out very soon. It's really the building of a national innovation gateway to house the AI Center as well as the Industry 4.0 Pilot Factory, along with spaces for startups, co-working space, as well as an events place to network. This is really very important. It's, the digital transformation that we are trying to aspire for really is not going to happen overnight, as earlier highlighted. We really need to work together, even, though we are really focusing a lot of our efforts in DTI to support our MSMEs and industries in their digital transformation, it's not going to be successful if we won't work together with other government agencies, with DOST, DICT, CHED, DepEd, NEDA, and the others, as well as close working relationship with the academe. It's only through R&D innovation that we'll be able to capacitate our MSMEs to be able to really compete against the large enterprises.
Thank you very much. Well said, Yusek Fita. I see two barriers to entry. One is infra, high cost, and that's being addressed now by the ICT and NTC that I mentioned. And the other one is soft skills and mindsets being addressed by DTI, and really appreciate those efforts. I hope, or there is hope for Mirabel. And on that note, thank you for your patience. Maraming salamat po. Just one quick question, please.
Commissioner, just one question. Excellent presentations. On AI, ma'am, on AI, thank you for that AI center. Now, I gather that AI can now make articles, they can pass examination. It's good you are dealing with the Department of Education. If we promote AI, will it not conflict with critical thinking? Number two would be in Japan, there are now robots serving in the restaurants. And you mentioned Tesla. Tesla, to be able to compete with big manufacturing, they do not employ much people because robot. Now, how do you reconcile AI with the employment program of our PDP? Thank you po. And baka mawalan na rin mga cashiers sa RCBC because in Amazon, there are no more cashiers.
If I may, very quickly, but you can approach me after. These are not intended, these new technologies, AI in particular, this is not intended to replace our workers. They're really meant as tools in order to help us improve our productivity. And that's the reason why the focus of our programs is really towards human capital development, the reskilling and upskilling of our workforce, because there will be new tasks, new jobs that would be created arising from the adoption of these new technologies.
Again, thank you very much for your patience.